Hello. Welcome to Loving You for Life show. I'm pretty sure some people are surprised to see me like, hold on, I thought this was Ice Day. But at the end of the day, Loving You for Life is a ministry. And the topic of this is perspective. And what better way than to have two people on here, right? Especially when it comes to perspective. So with no further ado, I would like my wife to say hello.
Hello.
There's a little lady right here, man. She's a soldier. She been under the weather. I mean, everything underneath the sun, but she holds it down like she always do. But I want to jump into this thing. I want to jump into it for the simple fact, one is football. I know everybody trying to watch that game, and two, I know the Spirit of God is moving. So with that being said, perspective is key. Ice Nugent, she been throughout this week like she normally do. She add different questions when it comes to whatever topic that she's going to talk about on Love You for Life show. And we want to dive into this. But even with that real quick, Ice, it's an honor. It's an honor just to be with you on this platform right now at this very moment, because I remember this back in Georgia. I remember this back in Georgia when it was a thought and a conversation. And now look at what God is doing, right? I mean, wow, look at what God is doing. And I bring this up because it took a certain perspective to even believe like even a conversation like that can really be real one day. I mean, I guess myself, I was like a baby Christian. And real quick, I grew up in church. She didn't. She met me while I was in the church. And then she gravitated from being with me to excelling over me when it came into the ministry, the church atmosphere. When I was trying to get away from the church, she was really going to the church. And this is what I mean by perspective, right? My perspective at the time, I got to get far away from the church. Her perspective at the time, I got to get closer to the church. And I say this because you really been holding it down. You really have grew in such a wonderful level of maturity. And but I was a baby Christian during that time, especially me living in Georgia. I was really trying to find myself. I believe, this is my perspective, right? Mm-hmm. I believe you was elevating yourself. I believe before you got to Georgia, you already knew you're walking a little bit at least in Christ, things of that nature. And nope. Talk to me. Please talk to me.
I didn't know nothing.
You ain't know nothing?
I just knew that God felt good.
You just knew God felt good?
He felt good.
Okay.
He felt good. But no, I didn't know nothing.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where I was going. I just know that reading his word and praying to him made me feel so good. That's all I knew during that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, during that time made her feel good. And during that time, I don't know, with me, right? I was more so trying to find myself. Trying to find my place. Like I said, I grew up in church. In a sense, church was forced on me, in which I honor that because my dad raised me right. So I'm grateful for that much. But I was trying to get away, and she was trying to get closer. And then, by the grace of God, we end up clicking in. And even with that being said, it's all about perspective. When we go through life, we go through different things, we go through different thoughts, we go through different experiences. So what I want to do, we're going to keep it spiritual because this is what we do. This is a ministry, but I want to bring a little more natural into this. Reason being, we got to know ourselves. I believe, that's my perspective, right? I believe we don't know ourselves the way we should. I believe that we stumble, we fall, we deceive ourselves, we deny ourselves for the simple being we ain't really knowing this flesh that we was born into. So this is what we're going to talk about, perspective. Before we dig into it, anything you want to say or share?
No, I'm just happy to be here.
And I'm happy to be here too. I mean, this is fun. Me and my wife sharing the stage tonight. This is fun. And this is ministry at its best. At least my perspective. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep throwing that word out. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's really about perspective. Mm-hmm. I think about, I'm gonna take it natural and then spiritual, right? When it comes to perspective. Drake, everybody know your boy Drake, right? He had a part in a rap verse. He said, we live in the same building, but we have different views. That hit me so hard. Matter of fact, you put that on your page. I'm like, and she posted it. That's when you know you're dealing with a soulmate. Let's pause for a moment. That's when you know you're dealing with a soulmate. When y'all on the same frequency. Y'all don't talk about nothing. Y'all don't really, go back and forth. You say something, she say something back. Y'all write it in stone. Then y'all come forth with it. But in the midst of this, she wrote what was in my spirit. We live in the same building, but we got different views. And think about life, right? And for me, I want to bring a little more naturally. I have a family building in Chicago, and we have 3 floors. 3 floors of Nugents. Imagine that, right? 3 floors of Nugents. And we're in the same building, but we got different views. And I mean it literally. There's no good, nor bad, no ugly. But we literally have different views. And that's just the reality of life. We all have different views. No matter if you're in the same bloodline, no matter if you're neighbors, no matter you church members, we're in the same building, but we have different views. But one thing that hit me a little more deeper is actually scripture. I want to flip it spiritually real quick. Jesus. I love me some Jesus, right? Jesus himself said to his disciples, I mean, they was doing their ministry for a minute, and then Jesus' name got out there, the word hit the street that Jesus is, this dude Jesus, he's somebody. And at that time, Jesus asked his disciples, who do they say I am? Now check that out. Who do they say I am? Now that's perspective at its best. I don't know if anybody missed it. But so often, we want to call ourselves this. We want to call ourselves that. But what is the people saying about who we are? What are the people saying about their experience with us? So I think that's pretty powerful. Mm-hmm. I think that's powerful. So, like I said, it's an honor. It's an honor. And what really triggered this off as far as me and Ice coming together, because she wrote something on a woman's page. For those that don't know, we have a woman's page, Woman to Woman Ministry. We're loving you for life. She posted on her page. It said, "What would you do?" Y'all know that show. What would you do, right? She said, "What would you do if your friend asked for $8? What would you do if your friend asked for $8? Would you get them $8 or $10?" And she had a swarm of different answers, right? No right or wrong. But it was a swarm of different answers. And this is what really made me trigger this whole perspective concept. Because at the end of the day, I'm coming to find out that a lot of this ain't about right or wrong. It's about different views. And I believe that's why we're divided the way we are. Because, we want to justify why we say what we say, why we think what we think. Or we want to, I don't know. But I do know we have so many different perspectives, even with something so little as giving somebody whatever you choose to give. So with that being said, it really hit my spirit, it hit my heart, and I said, Ice, we got to go live together. We got to do this together for the simple fact, I know my wife, she's really gifted. God blessed her, God anointed her. And my perspective, right? And you know what I said, what Jesus say, who they think I am, who they say I am. And for me, this woman has been, oh my gosh, she has been a gift from God to me. And she has a lot of insight with a lot of different things, especially when it comes to the natural. It goes back to what we started. When it comes to the natural, she has a great gift. And I believe that this platform is an opportunity for us to share. For the simple fact, a lot of us, we be so caught up in the spirit, but we deny the flesh. And it's funny because I guess the world, life, whatever, got us to a point to make the flesh is all evil, all bad, things of that nature. But no, the flesh can teach us so much about ourselves. So this is why we're here. We're going to come from different perspectives, from different elements. Think about 4 seasons, right? You got winter, spring, summer, fall. And just like with life, God created different elements in life. He created different personalities in life. He created different ways of talking, different ways of acting in life. And I believe my perspective, if we can dig into this flesh, we can get more understanding and we can get more discipline. Would you agree?
I agree. I definitely agree.
Let the church say amen.
I definitely agree.
Amen. Well, yeah, we agree. And when two or more gather together, the Spirit of God is in the midst. So I thank everybody that's a part of it, a part of this Loving You for Life show right now. I just thank God for ministry. And we're finna get into our topics. But I just got to thank God. I got to pause right now because it goes back to what I said a moment ago. I remember me and my wife in Doraville, right? Doraville, Georgia, right on the outskirts of Atlanta. I remember we was talking when it came to what we believed that God wanted from us. I mean, we was young. We was in our early 30s, so we wasn't that young in age, but we was young when it came to the spirit, when it came to the relationship. And I thank God that we had the right perspective to believe in the impossible, to believe in something that we're just gravitating to that certain degree, to trust. People can say I love God, believe God all day, but trust, oh my God, that's another level. Mm-hmm. But I feel it's important though that we break down these different elements. Why? Because we live in the same building and we got different views. And myself, right, just to give a quick breakdown before I turn it over to Aisha as far as presenting things to her. Myself, I learned myself, right, I'm a thinker. I shared this with others before. It was a time that I thought I was crazy. It was a time that I thought I was thinking too much. It was a time that I just couldn't get it, right? Because people taught me holy, holy, holy. And then other people taught me fleshly, fleshly, fleshly. But it came a time, by the grace of God, I was able to put both together to really understand my element, to understand how I operate, to understand that what I'm thinking actually makes sense. And it lines up to accordingly what God got planned for my life. And last but not least, I'd be foolish to think that everybody's watching these videos, Loving You for Life shows on Thursdays, the Saturday night prayers on Saturday. I'd be foolish to believe that everybody a Christian or a believer or the way, as what we was called in the very beginning. I'd be foolish. So that's why I'm so happy right now to present something so natural for everybody. This is for everybody. For the simple fact, because all things really do work together. I believe that one man plants, another man water, but God get the increase. I believe that this is an opportunity for whoever believe, whoever don't believe, can find an understanding on their walk in life so they can live the way God intended it to be. So, Aisha, I said a mouthful.
You was doing good by yourself.
But you know what my man Neo said? I'm a movement by myself.
But I'm a force.
Go ahead, finish. I'm a force when we're together. You know, and this is what it is, right? This is a force right here. This is unbreakable right here. But honestly though, I want your breakdown. I remember we was talking one day, and this is what really inspired me to really do everything with this perspective. We was talking outside on our front porch, and you was just hitting like a person like you would look at the universe like this. A person like me would look at the universe like this. A person like another person would look at the universe like this. And when I was thinking about these different elements, I'm like, this is really true. Because I know so many people that literally have different views when it comes to how they view life. So one of the things I want to dig into is anxiety. I want to hear some problems and get some solution. This ain't just for talk. I want to hear some solution. Anxiety is really crippling us. It's crippling God's people. It's crippling people in general, and it's a hindrance. Mm-hmm. And I believe, my perspective, if we can understand our flesh, if we can understand how we operate, we can tackle some of these anxieties. And let's talk about anxiety, right? Anxiety is nothing more than something that ain't happened yet. So many of us have been dealt a hard blow that now we're concerned with what's to come. So I just want you to hit on anxiety. I just want you to break it down when it comes to different perspectives and aspects of different people.
Well, one thing we do know about anxiety is that it's just fear. You have to excuse me, I have a cold. I'm trying. But it's fear. It's fear of becoming something that is unknown. So you said that anxiety is something that hasn't happened yet. A lot of times we are scared to become the person that we are supposed to become because we are in the unknown about it. But when you know who you are, you won't be scared to become that person. But that's all about what your belief is and who you are. So, it's really, really big because we not just scaredy cats. We're not really scaredy cats, but we have this anxiety of what it may change. When we become who we supposed to become, and when we grow and grow up, it's a consequence for that. And we are more afraid about what is going to change in our life. It changes our status, it changes our money, it changes our relationships, it changes everything about us. So I think that anxiety is all about becoming something that is unknown to you. But when you know who you are and your faith is in it, then you're not going to have that anxiety no more. Because you know who you are, you know you're going to become something great. Now, if I knew I was about to become the worst of something, it makes sense to have anxiety. Because I know the plan that I'm living, I know my walk, I know my steps that I'm taking. But if I know that I'm doing things in a righteous way, I have no reason to fear on what my outcome is going to be. So that's all about being in the, in the image of God? In the image of God. Knowing who you are first. When you know who you are, you won't be scared about the person you're about to become. You won't have the anxiety of it because you know what you're about to become is much greater than what you are today. But if you believe that what you're going to become is going to affect your life, you'll never get there. That's just what I've been learning in myself and in other people. We are afraid to become a better person at times. And better is good, but we still be afraid. We really do.
And which is true. This is true. I want to dig a little bit deeper though. And that's what you said is true. I agree. And one thing that I can say, and not even no bragging purposes, but God has been sending people our way. I mean, it goes back to Georgia, right? Northfield, Georgia. I mean, we wasn't saying this for the people. We were saying this because was tapping into our identity. Mm-hmm. And God has been sending people our way. And with that, we've been learning more and more and more. And I believe we both can say we will never say we know it all.
Yeah.
Because life is just that. As long as you live it, you're going to learn something new. But when it comes to the breakdown, this is why I really want to dig in with you, Ed Ice. Mm-hmm. Because you understand these different elements. Like with a person myself, a thinker. You know, a thinker. So break down a person that's a thinker when it comes to anxiety. Break down a person that deal with nothing but emotions. Break these things down. That way we can really get a grasp on these things.
Well, when it comes to that part, some people, their impulse is in their mind. So every time that something happens, they're concerned about what they think. That's usually the majority of anxiety for everybody, though, to be honest.
Okay. What
you think, whatever visual you give yourself, that's what you picture, that's what you stamp, and that becomes your fear, your Satan, your flesh. So a person that is a big thinker, and their impulse is all about what they think and what they know, then that person will have anxiety about getting it wrong. And if God is supposed to be the head of you, then you won't even worry about getting it wrong because you can't get it wrong. You can only detour. You can only change your route. There's no such thing as getting it wrong if you lined up in your priorities in order. But a thinker most likely will be concerned about getting it wrong, hoping and praying that what they created in their head stays that way.
Hold on. Hoping and praying what they created in their head
stays that way.
Ooh, okay, please continue.
Stays that way.
Please continue.
That's usually what the thinker is all about. And if the natural and the practical is different from what they thought, then that's where the issues come in at. And it slows down that process, it delays them, it throws them off. So that's what it's all about. So for the thinker, you really have to encourage them that the end result would be exactly what they want it to be, because God will give you the desires of your heart. But the route that you take, it might not go that way. So that's where a thinker will find their comfort at, in something like that. Now you take an emotional person, always they're going to be concerned about their feelings. It's about what they feel. So they can think of a beautiful project, but if they don't feel good, they can't make it happen. So it's all about their feelings. So to get comfort in a person like that, that works off of their emotions and works off of their feelings of themselves and others, that's the kind of person that will have to find comfort in the mind. Now you can kind of see how soulmates start coming in together. This is how that kind of thing happens. Yeah.
Okay. So you got some thinkers, you got some emotional people. Like, what other type of people out there when it comes to anxiety, though? You know.
You got your you got your passionate, compassion, bold and courageous people. The people that's just fire starters. They are all about creation and making things happen, and that's what they're great at. So if it doesn't happen right then and it happens later, they pretty much get their anxiety off of timing. Timing is an issue for them because they have the power to make things happen, but if it doesn't happen in their timing, then they might get anxiety in that type of place. And then, of course, you got the people on earth who are grounded and who are solid and who usually want to make things stable and, of course, change. Anything that changes will throw them off. So that's what we're talking about as far as perspective. Whatever you believe, that's exactly what's going to happen. So you have to make sure that your perspective is exactly fixated on the outcome that you desire. Not the method, not the way that it happens, not the route that it goes, not how you feel, not who's in charge and who are around you, but you have to be fixated on the outcome. Kind of make sense?
No,
yeah.
It makes a heck of a lot of sense. So no matter what type of individual you are, if you're a thinker, emotional, passionate, whatever, as long as your ass is on the prize, that's really should be keep you stable as far as not allowing all these other spheres and figment of imagination to take place.
That's how it's supposed to be. But once again, we was created in the image of God. So if you created an image of God, the outcome is successful, case closed. But because of this uniform and this covering and this shell that we in, we have to understand our flesh to know what to rebuke and what to fight against. Because those things that I talked about with anxiety, those are things that stop us from staying in that image of God. We speak it, we declare it, it's done. We don't worry about how it happens or how long it happens, how long it takes to happen. We don't worry about if the fire lit then or later. We don't worry about how we feel. We just straight focus on the outcome.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. And that alone is powerful and it's needed for the simple fact we are all dealing with this flesh. We are all dealing with iniquity, right? We are born into iniquity. We are born into this flesh. We are born into this life. We are born into who we are. So if we can get it, and I anxiety was my first one to hit that ice because it was important because I see so many people dealing with it, and I was one in my day used to deal with it. Like I said, I had to get to know Curtis. Let's go back to perspective, right? Let's go back to what Jesus said, right? Who do they say I am? Even and let's go back into what me and Aisha started off in Dorville, Georgia. And look at us now. Now we at a stage. We never called ourselves anything back in Dorville, Georgia. What year was this, back?
What was that, 10?
No, it was before 10.
Before 10?
We moved back to Chicago in 2010. 2005?
Mm-hmm.
2005. We're talking this. We ain't care about no title. We ain't care about none of that. We still don't now. But now, so many people's calling us different things. If it's king or queen, if it's man of God or woman of God, if it's pastor, leader, whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, we come to understand, who do y'all say we are? Because at the end of the day, I'm Curtis and she's Aisha. We follow God. We believe in God. So what God is painting the image of for you to say, okay, they are this in my life. They are that in my life. Whatever the case may be. So now, I see to say all that to say, by us maturing and being a little more accountable for God, as I would like to say, the greater the responsibility, the greater the weight. Now I get a chance to see that so many people are dealing with anxiety issues, and what I'm coming to learn is really a figment of our imagination.
Yes,
but it's even some root to that, and we're gonna get to that root next. But anything else you want to say about the whole anxiety thing?
That's it right there.
So whoever's dealing with anxiety, whoever's dealing with this anxiety, first and foremost, understand who you are. Understand how you operate. Understand, are you the overthinker? Are you that person that's emotional? Throw your emotion into things. The other person who throws their passion in a thing. Or are you just trying to get grounded in that thing? These things are important. Why? Because these things are going to dictate how you operate. And in return, how you're going to be receptive to you and your God. Now, let's go a little deeper. We can bring up anxiety, all this. We can bring up the present. Let's go a little bit in the past. Reason why I say that, because a lot of us grew up in certain type of ways, in certain type of atmospheres, in certain type of conditions, with certain type of thought pattern. So once again, I would like to bring this to you, babe. See, that's my perspective. I call her babe. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. Queen, ice, babe, whatever.
You gave me cold too.
I got a cold too.
Y'all do not know the temp right now. It's ridiculous. It's like 0 degrees right now.
Well, and that's her perspective.
That is my perspective.
I'm gonna say 70.
It is 0 degrees.
For me, I'm gonna say 70. And I love this perspective all the time. It just goes. All right, but real talk though, upbringing. I would like to call this growing up messed up. Reason being because our upbringing shapes our perspective. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, what we was sown is how 9 out of 10 we're gonna operate unless we know better and then decide to do better. So, Ice, I would like to get your expertise, and I say expertise for the simple fact this woman is really, really knowledgeable. I would like to get your expertise when it comes to when it comes to different ways of thinking, different ways of operating, how our upbringing can be a hindrance or can even be a blessing when it comes to right here, right now. Please.
But it's the moment that's bittersweet, like you said. It could be a hindrance or it could be a blessing. We talked about how we were made in the image of God. So we got that understood. That's clear. That's who we are. We born into iniquity. Those things that he talked about, the passion, the emotion, the thinker, all that stuff is our flesh. Now the next step is the people who raise us. And that's like bittersweet. Because we are chosen to be a part of a certain bloodline for our purpose. And that's where a lot of resentment come in at. That's where a lot of unforgiveness come in at. This is like the most important part before you walk in your purpose, is getting all the understanding and wisdom that you need out of the people who raised you and the people who are around you. Because the main reason is because now you around all these different elements. They are supposed to teach you. Now you're supposed to learn how to think. You're supposed to learn how to feel. You're supposed to learn how to be stable. You're supposed to learn how to be passionate. And you're supposed to learn all this stuff from imperfect people. So that causes a problem sometimes. And people usually go off into the teenage years sometimes and wild out. Because everything gets confusing.
I was one of them, by the way.
You know I was. I just made it back. Because everything gets confusing because a lot of times, sometimes, our parents don't know who we are. They don't know who we are because sometimes the parents don't know who they are. And so you have to have that relationship in the spirit so you can hear and see and feel your child, so that you can guide them and lead them according to their purpose and according to their talent. So as caregivers and extended families, we supposed to be looking at these children and see their traits. Actually, you see it all the time on Facebook. They got little 4-year-olds on there playing guitar. Somebody watching. Somebody watching that talent. Somebody watching that gift. So this is kind of bittersweet because you can learn a lot of bad behavior and you can still overcome, or you can learn everything you need to learn and have the positivity to go into the teenage years and adulthood, take you straight to your purpose. So it all depends on how we react to what we're being taught. So it's kind of hard, but it's actually the truth. This is where the majority of those scars come from. Remember, we good, we innocent, everything is fine, but the scars come from how we are talked to, the hurt, the pain, not being protected as a child. So many scars come upon us, and that takes away from who we really are. That takes us off course and our purpose. And a lot of times we take our gifts, talents, purpose, and we kind of suffocate it with our feelings, or we kind of mask it, or we just take it and push it down. Because I can give you an example. Everybody gonna know this true. When I was little, everybody said I talk too much. I talk too much, right? I'm supposed to talk too much because this is what I do. I talk. But just imagine when you talk too much. Be quiet. Shut up. And then you muffle the gift. You grieve the spirit. So you can't point fingers. Only thing you can understand is sometimes our caregivers, our parents, our guardians, and extended family are not spiritually woke or have the understanding of who we are. So that can affect where we're going. And we are responsible still to break away from that and become who we're supposed to be. So yeah, growing up as a child can take you off your track depending on who's around you. And if you take that thing and you suffocate it for so long, you will think it's not even there. I talk to people this week, last week, all year. 40, 50, 60-year-old people don't know what they're supposed to do. Don't know who they are alone. They don't know who they are alone. And they don't know what they're supposed to do. They're not sure about their passion. They don't know what business to start. And I have to take them all the way back to those hard days so they can make some connections. So it's bittersweet. But these people, this family is teaching us how to maneuver for the future. And we need a covering during those days so that we don't get tainted too much. And we still responsible at a certain point of life to remove ourselves from the bad teachings, remove ourselves from the things that wasn't taught correctly. We are still responsible to become an adult. It says you're supposed to start eating milk. Start eating meat. You no longer drink milk. We are still responsible to grow up, even if it was bittersweet. So that's where a lot of the hammering down, and that's where a lot of the gifts and the talents get pushed down. And you still have the desire for it, but through life, it might come later on when you finally decide to think about it, be about it. But yeah, upbringing is really, really a delicate time.
It is.
Very delicate.
It is. Let me say this, two things. One, hopefully your stuff ain't freezing up. Your stuff ain't freezing up because I've been spending a lot of money on our equipment, and I say that not to boast or brag, but we believe in enhancing what we're doing, enhancing the kingdom. So my goal, me as Curtis, want to give you the best that I can possibly give you. So hopefully that's not the case. But two, next thing was that she talked about is it comes a time we got to pop the breasts out of our mouths. Is it safe to say that?
Yeah.
Bishop T.D. Jakes, I remember listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes. He said sometimes we grow baby Hueys. You know what I mean? We grow baby Hueys. I mean, we get bigger, but we ain't get better. And I take that for face value because I believe a lot of us get our perspective off of our upbringing, and we know that things ain't right. We know, once again, we all the image of God. She said that numerous times. We all the image of God. So it's something that's going to be inside of us that's going to tug us and pull us and convict us even if it's going against the grain. But if we choose to follow along, to stay alone, whatever the case may be, we can find ourselves being some baby Hueys. We got bigger, but we did not get better. So I think that was heavy what you shared. I think that was powerful. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's really no excuse. I mean, especially when it comes to what we know, what we know. What we see is another thing. How we feel is another thing. What we're passionate about is another thing. But what we know is what we know. If we know that we need to do better, we need to not follow the trend of our upbringing, I think we need to do just that. And I believe that we dealt with that same type of situation. I mean, it was up to us to follow how we was brought, you know, if that's such a word, how we was brought up. You know, do we follow these certain ways, certain patterns, certain styles, certain thoughts, especially thinking, right? Because it's so easy to form your thoughts off of your upbringing, off your elders. But it comes a time where if you know that it ain't helping you, it's hurting you. So it goes back to being bittersweet. So I thank you. I thank you for sharing that. I thank you for really breaking that down, for the simple fact because our upbringing has a lot to do with a lot of things from my experience. With not only just myself, but with other people as well.
Yeah.
So amen. Amen. Last but not least, we all got a journey. We talked about the present with a lot of anxiety issues, and even for those that's not dealing with extreme anxiety, I'm pretty sure you may have a pinch. You know what I mean? Because some way, shape, or form, we all have a thought of the unknown. You know, so I believe that was present when it came to growing up. I believe that was past. So let's deal with the future. We got a journey. We all on this journey. Even with that, right? That's my perspective. That's how I look at life. Being a journey. It took a while. Let me tell you this story, right? I was selling Comcast, and I was going door to door, knocking on doors, yada yada. This is maybe 5 years ago now. And it was I'm 41, so I had to be 36. So it was a young guy. I knocked on the door, and I was like, it's, yada yada home. He said, oh, my mom's not here. I said, okay, well, you let her know I came by, this, that, and the next. And this young man, I was 36, he had to be maybe in his teenage years, maybe 17, 18, 19. He said, enjoy your journey. And that stopped me in my tracks. I said, can you say that again, bro? He said, okay, enjoy your journey. I said, man, you blessed my heart. And I held on to that. Because I'm looking at things one way, and this young man had a whole nother concept that I was drawn into to adapt. So to say all this is to say, we are on a journey. We are headed somewhere, and it takes perspective to get us to our destination. We all gonna be wherever God wants us to be, but I believe in timing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I believe in timing. So even with the timing, when it comes to perspective, it makes me think about the Israelites, right? They was in the wilderness for 40 years, but they was already ordained to be there just for 11 days. But because of them and their perspective, they screwed up everything. So with that, I want to help the people. Including ourselves.
You're doggone right.
Including ourselves, right? And this is why this is ministry at its best. We ain't gonna fake, we ain't gonna front. We gonna keep it 100 for the simple being. We are all in this journey together.
For real.
Each one, teach one. But when it comes to this journey, from your experience, from your expertise, what is the best way to go through this journey, especially when it comes to perspective, to help prevent us from doing this thing too long?
You got to break away.
Mm.
You got to break away. You have to break away. And a lot of times we don't want to do that. I just got through talking about the upbringing. At some point in your life, there will be a breaking. Voluntary or involuntary. You will experience a breaking from those you idolize. And that will be the day that you start your day one in becoming who you are. So after that breaking, after that moment when you get it, like, I got to do this myself. At the end of the day, I have to do this. A lot of people see it all the time. You see it all on Facebook. Don't trust nobody. Where people at when you want them to be there for you. Those type of moments is called a breaking. And that's when you are supposed to rise up, get an authority of your life, and begin to get your knowledge, get your understanding, understand your purpose, and begin to start this purposeful spiritual journey. I do like journey better than life, because life is like, boom. What?
Yeah.
But journey, that lets me know that I'll be going through some things as I continue on the journey. And when you say journey, there's no ending, and I like that part too.
Yeah.
So once you break away, or once you have a breakdown, some type of stripping, something will happen. I just give you examples from some of the people I counsel. Their parents die, their partner die, a big tragic incident might happen. They get eviction on a house, big breakdown in the family, a child gets sick, they get sick. It's some type of breaking that happens for our good and for us to learn from. And that's when they begin to start tapping into themselves. It usually happens around times like that. Yeah, so you got to break away and find yourself. Yeah, and it don't have to be a physical breakaway. You just mentally have to break away and find yourself.
Yeah. And you said it all, you know, especially with the breaking. And I will add on with that, the breakthrough is in the breaking.
Yes.
I really believe that from the bottom of my heart. The breakthrough is in the breaking. So once we can start, and I'm going to use the word we, because this is all a journey, right? We are all on a journey in a particular path, which will all align up to what we call heaven, right? That's my concept. That's my point of view. That's what I know to learn. That's what I know to come to learn is true. If we can continue to break these things that's holding us back, it goes back to that baby Huey, right? If even from the past, even with the present, with the whole overthinking about tomorrow, the Bible says itself that, you know, tomorrow ain't even promised, you know, and even the Bible also will go along to say that God take care of everything, the birds, everything. So why should we put so much thought into the next day? But reality, right, and this is why I love You for Life ministry. The reality is we are all dealing with something pressing. It may be an eviction notice. It may be a repossession. It may be a bad baby mama or bad baby daddy. Whatever the case may be, it may be something that's hindering, that's stressing you. But we're here to tell you on the day, keep your rightful perspective. Keep your rightful mind pattern. Don't let no devil or no person dictate how you're going to think next. Your next move got to be your better move, but that thought got to come from you. And it got to be inspired from God, so all things can really work together. Would you agree?
I agree.
So all I got to say is, perspective is really key.
Yeah.
It's really key.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
I forgot.
No, please.
When you said perspective is the key, I had posted some stuff on my page, some pictures and stuff like that. You brought up the money thing about the $8.
Yes.
Yeah. I also had put some pictures on there. It was about it was some dishes in a sink. It actually wasn't a right or wrong answer for the dishes in the sink. But if you can go back and look at the comments, we usually see what we feel. And that's why I wanted to tell y'all. So I thank y'all for the comments y'all put on those pictures. I put the picture. I said, what do you see? Some people saw something totally different from the next person. It was not a wrong answer. It was all about who you are, what you feel, and what you see. Some people, I think, put nasty. I think somebody put lazy, and some people even put on there she needs a friend. And they even put a pronoun on it. So
Pronoun.
it wasn't even a woman in the kitchen. But I just want y'all to go back to those comments so you can see how you think. Yes. And you can see how you feel.
Oh, powerful, powerful.
It tells you a lot about yourself. So if you want to be more positive, if your stuff don't look the way you want it to look, now since I said that, change your perspective. Because actually when it was presented to me, when I saw it, it was actually the picture of the dishes was after a successful dinner.
Mm.
So just think about that. It's how you see life, how you see people, how you see things, how you see pictures. The lady that was in the bathroom and she had the shower, water just pouring all over her. I had to delete this person's comment, but he went sexual. Wasn't no wrong or right, but it just shows you what you see. We usually see what we feel. A lot of times we don't see facts. Women's page. I got a women's page. Most times our women entangle into a debate because it's about feelings. Emotionalism affects a lot of relationships and debates. So be very careful about that. So some people saw sex, like she wants sex, when she was sitting on the floor with the water coming on her. Most people were saying pain, depression, and this, and that. But actually, when it was presented to me, it was a woman who was just absolutely thankful that she had no more chemo.
Mm.
She actually had on a dress.
Mm.
She got the call, she sat down, and just let the water just refreshing her. So it wasn't even nothing sexual. So I'm saying that because I did those pictures on purpose so that we can see how we feel and how we think. So I thank everybody for commenting on those pictures.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, I believe Ice said it the best. We both said it, I guess, throughout this whole show this evening. It ain't about right or wrong. And I believe that's the trick of the enemy.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the trick. Let's go spiritual now. I believe that's what the devil wants. The Bible says itself, our kingdom is divided. The devil kingdom, they march on one accord. But our kingdom is divided. One, because we want to fuss about things that's irrelevant. And two, our perspective is out of whack. And this is why we're here today. This is why we're here to bring some natural things to a spiritual life, but we're walking in a natural form. So this is important, and I thank God for this breath of fresh air that He's allowing Loving You for Life to be a part of, because we have to match all this up together. Reason being, we're going to be excellent in one area, but we're going to be lacking in another area, and we know that God wants wholeness. As He's working on us, He's going to continue to have others working themselves, and He's going to bring us all together to be able to touch and agree. So last but not, I'm sorry?
No, I just heard members of the body.
Members of the body.
Mm-hmm.
One body, many members.
Many
Hallelujah.
members. Don't let our differences affect where we're going.
Yes,
We're
oh my God,
supposed to
yes.
be different.
We're supposed to be different. Man, my wife is totally different.
Totally.
Totally. It is okay. It is okay. I love it. She loves it. Sometimes we like, ugh. But we loves it. Why? Because this is who we are. This is who God created us to be.
It works.
It works. Oh my God, it works.
It works.
It works,
It
man.
works.
Oh Jesus. Last but not least, as we close, I believe that God has taken us out of a lot of situations to put us back in a situation. I say this, I don't know who I'm talking to right now. This is Pastor Kurt on Love You for Life show. I don't know who I'm talking to. God done took you out of something to put you out of something. He took you out of whatever it may have been your upbringing, how you was brought up, your family members, your friends, your community, your society. But God is really putting you back in something for the simple being a new perspective. God wants to take you out of it to give you His view versus your view. Now you got His view. Now you can operate in what's other people doing. So now you can really be effective in what God had called for you in your life, in your ministry, in your purpose. And that's the bottom line with perspective. Good perspective, righteous perspective, bring a purpose, which is God's purpose. Now we ain't got to keep wondering, what should I do? How should I act? How should I be? Once you know your perspective aligns up with God, once you realize God took you out of certain things to cleanse you, to heal you, not to just separate you, but to make you whole, to put you back in a situation that can be effective for the kingdom. So I believe this. I believe this wholeheartedly, that God took you out of something and put you back in something. So I thank you guys for joining us tonight for Loving You for Life show. Ice, I want you to have the last word, because I know you hold it down on Thursdays. But I thank you guys. No, you do. You've been doing an excellent job, by the way. You've been doing an excellent job. Last but not least, Saturday, I'll be doing Saturday night prayer. We all know this. but it will be my last one for the next after this. I'll be on a hiatus. The next 2 weeks, I'll be on vacation and everything else.
You be on hiatus.
On hiatus. I was gonna say sabbatical, but that'd be a lie. But I'm getting a well needed break. I get to see my nephew. I'm really happy about that. But I just want to let y'all know now for those that follow me on Saturday. But please, babe, go ahead and close this out.
The greatest commandment is love. And that's exactly what we have a hard time doing here. We talked about all these different elements to show that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And not only that, all of these elements are needed to build a building. All these elements are needed for a purpose. Purpose for ourselves and a purpose for the world. So please do not discourage other people's perspective.
Amen.
You probably can use that and make $1 million. So please stop doing that. Love is the greatest. Love your neighbor, which means you will be loving people with different perspectives. Perspectives a lot of times are not wrong. It's what they seen, it's what they felt, it's what they passionate about, it's what they think, it's what they like, and it's what they don't want to change sometimes. So please keep that in mind. It is okay to be different. It is okay to see things in a different way. Ain't no wrong or right. Let God be the judge.
Amen. Hey, it is okay, you guys. It's okay. We thank you. Many blessings. I mean, we thank God for loving you for life. Once again, if y'all ain't getting nothing out of this show on tonight, it's okay. It's okay. It's many members in one body. I mean, we gotta come in with different thoughts, different visions, different convictions to bring this thing together as one body. And I thank God for you, Aisha. I thank God for who you are. I thank God for your gifts, talents, and talents.
Thank you.
And love you for life. And hey, we love you guys. God bless.
You have to push that button right there.
And I gotta push that button.
Because we empty nesters. We don't have no little kids to come push the button.
Our studio audience / workers is all gone now. Hey, God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.